Hello everybody and welcome to Gfinity Arena for Hearthstone Masters Spring Tournament. We're going to see an amazing match, Amaz versus Zozus. I am Nimsh and I'm joined today by Aquablood. How are you, my man?
I'm good, man. It's been a good morning so far. We just had a great game with Nyria and Sixo, but now we have Amaz and Zozus. So that's going to be an exciting match. Bit of a run back. We had them yesterday, so I'm excited to see what happens.
It's an elimination match, so the winner advances to the finals and the loser is eliminated from the tournament. Amaz versus Zozus. Like, I know Amaz, I heard a lot about Amaz, he's a recognized and decorated player, but for the people who are actually new to Hearthstone, can you tell me more about him?
So Amaz has been with the community for a long time. He's been a big name within competitive Hearthstone, a massive streamer on Twitch. You'll always see him have loads of people watching him. And he's had a major influence on the competitive side as well as in organisation as well. He's organises the Pinnacle, which is a very prestigious event. I know has good prize money, good players. So Amaz with Team Archon has done so much for Hearthstone. He's just a fantastic personality within the community.
But he still is hunting for the win. Like, he had a couple of wins. He had a great streak. He won Millennium Cup. He won IM Shenzhen. But right now, it seems like Amaz is still trying to get another win in a tournament. So he's really trying harder.
Yeah, I don't think the metagame really helps Amaz because Amaz's strongest play comes from Priest, and the Priest is not doing that great right now. But I think Amaz could pull it out here. You know, he has the ability, he has the talent, and he has the teammates around him to help him succeed. So hopefully Amaz will now clutch out that victory versus Zozus.
Well, on the other side, there is Zozus, a Polish player, one of the recognized Polish players from the Polish community, and he won versus Amaz before. He got Amaz into the losers bracket. So right now, Amaz has to face the same opponent, same circumstances, but you know he lost versus him before. Do you think it's a disadvantage for Amaz?
I don't think it's a disadvantage because now Amaz has the knowledge he didn't have before. So he knows what decks he's going against. He knows what classes are there, perhaps what tech cards have shown up. So he has that information advantage at least. At least he's not going in blind now. He has a bit of he's had a bit of time to kind of work out what happened last time, maybe iron out some of the problems he had before, and now he can use that information to his advantage this time and maybe just push that victory because it was 3-2 to Zosus before, so it was very close. Regardless of Zosus' lineup, from what I can see, is quite favoured against Amaz.
Well, on the other hand, Zozus won versus Amaz, so he knows the decks as well, and he has this mental advantage that I just won versus this guy. You know, like coming into this match before, Zozus was at a disadvantage because just playing versus one of the top pro players, you can feel, hey, it's really hard to win. Can I really win? But now he knows, like he won once, so nothing is going to stop him from winning again.
Yeah, he's got the confidence now. He's got that win against a really high-profile player. And the one thing that Zozus has, like I said, he has the matchup advantage as well, because he has the Rogue, which traditionally does very well against Priest. He has the Druid, which we've just seen Nyria absolutely destroy Sixer with that really good draws. I mean, we saw what Druid is capable of if it gets the right draw. So I think Zosus will be good now. He'll feel comfortable, but there might be that bit of anxiety. He has to play this really high-profile, strong player again, and he has to beat him again.
Also, Amaz brought his Mech Mage and Priest and Warrior. Those are not really easy decks to play and play against.
So yeah, Warrior's kind of fallen off a little bit recently, and Warrior actually did really well for Faramir early on, whereas for some other players who brought Warrior, it wasn't that effective. So Warrior suits kind of Amaz's playstyle, though he plays Priest, which is a very control-heavy deck, so Warrior just seems like a logical pick for him almost because it complements his playstyle. So we'll have to see if Amaz can get a win with that Warrior, and hopefully he doesn't get matched up with that Druid, so he can get a win with the Warrior before the Druid can come into play.
Can you tell me through the matchups as well? Like, so how does the Priest, how does Amaz win with a Priest, basically? Because last time he lost with a Priest, like he never won a game with that Priest.
Yeah, it's tough. It's because it's in such a poor spot in the meta right now. I think Druid does very well against it. Rogue does very well against it. The thing with Zozus is he's got handlock, but he has demons in it, so it's a bit different to your standard handlock. And I can't really comment on that deck because I don't know enough about it. I haven't seen enough from it. So perhaps if he's going to get this win with this Priest, the demon handlock might be the deck to do it because he has the Shadow Word Deaths, he has ways to deal with the giants.
I certainly agree. We're trying to figure out one technical thing, guys, so just give us a second. This is not the match we want to see.
What's going on here? So we're just having some technical issues at the moment with the match. We kind of queued into the wrong match, but we'll be with you shortly.
Alright, so Zozus versus Amaz. There is a mage from Zozus, I believe. Wait, this is Amaz.
No,
yeah.
this is Amaz.
This is Amaz.
Mage. So this is the deck which is quite strong right now. A couple of players have brought it so far. It's one of those decks that can snowball out of control really early if it gets an early board presence. So it's quite a good opener, you know, to scout out what your opponent is playing. And Druid, from what my experience, can suffer a lot against Mech Mage early on. And if a Mech Mage can just keep that momentum, Druid kind of falls off. But Druid does have the ability to catch up with its more stall cards, like its Taunts, its Belchers, if he's playing them, and its Ages of Law.
Yeah, I played this match many times because I was playing Mech Mage in the past seasons, and Mech Mage has a huge advantage here because you do have Mirror Entity. Well, first you can snowball, and Druid is slow with comeback mechanisms. So if you snowball as a Mech Mage, you build up your board, you play those mechs, then Druid has a hard time dealing with that. And also specific Mech Mage cards, they do counter the Druid cards. Like you play Shade of Naxxramas, they play Blast Mage, and Blast Mage kills the Shade of Naxxramas. You're in trouble. A very important card as well as Mirror Entity. If you get that Mirror Entity for free from Mad Scientist on a key turn, like turn 5 or 6, you can basically like stop the Druid from playing minions. Or
you just lock them out. They don't want to commit a good minion because you don't want to give them that much advantage on the board. So having this early Mad Scientist is also very good because when he's going into turn 5, turn 6, this is where you play your Sylvanas, your Belchers, etc. And you don't want to give a mage those cards. And he has the piloted Shredder as well, which gives so much board advantage because of its death rattle.
On the other hand, Druid still has a chance to win. It's not 100% win rate for Mech Mage. The way the Druid is going to win this is to just stop the Mech Mage from expanding the board, stop their early aggression, and then at some point Mech Mage is running out of cards. And then Druid gets the advantage, plays the lore. If you need to heal, you do heal. If you don't need to heal, you draw the cards. And then you have the combo. The problem that Mech Mage is facing, if you don't kill your opponent early, you don't have taunts, you don't have heal, you're just dead to combo.
Yeah, your late game is very much reliant on Dr. Boom and Antonidas and the spare parts. So if you don't get them at any point during the match, like you said, you just run out of steam, which is a problem. But we do see an Azura Drake in Amaz's hand, which is something that does just give a bit more power to the deck, get another card, trying to keep the aggression going, which has kind of fallen out of some Mech Mages recently with the Azura Drake, just taking that more aggressive stance. But we've seen Amaz has decided to opt for it in this deck, probably just to keep things going.
Yeah, that's one of the best situations for the Mech Mage. At turn 5, you do have a Mirror Entity set up, you do have some kind of board, and you have the follow-up with Azure Drake, and you even have that Fireball, which is a great card to stop Druid of the Claw in a bird form, or even like as a finisher. For the Druid, it looks dire. If there is no Zombie Chow in his hand right now, Zozus might be in trouble.
Yeah, Zozus is probably in a situation here. We plays a Druid where he just doesn't want to give anything, and he might just trade here, which is not great. Yeah, that wasn't a very good turn for Zozus, and we can see from Amaz's hand, he has quite a strong curve here. He's got the Azura Drake coming up, he's going to draw something from that. He's got the Fireball, like you said, to deal with any other kind of taunt or big minions that come down.
What do you think about a possible attack into the Pilot Shredder? There are merits to that. The first thing is that you do deny the mech, and maybe you can get something that's annoying for the Mech Mage player, like a Doomsayer or maybe Laurel Kucho.
Yeah, it's relying on RNG a bit too much. I think Zozus just wanted a straight up clear. He just wanted to try and contest the board a bit more. I can't think of the word. It's just a strong. I think it's a stronger way to deal with the board rather than relying on, say, some RNG.
Wow, he has Antonidas and he got a Stealth spare part. This is the ultimate combo that a Mech Mage can pull.
And he still has lots of resources in his hand at turn 6. He still has a lot of mechs. We haven't seen any Goblin Blast Mages yet. And like you said, the Antonidas and the Finicky Cloak field, which is just incredible because it just sets up infinite fireballs pretty much from turn 8 onwards.
Right now he has a couple of choices. The first thing that comes to mind is just Fireball this Sludge Belcher and then maybe develop Aniotron so that you don't have 4 minions, you play around Mind Control Tech. But on the other hand, he can also maybe attack with the Azure Drake, ping, and then develop Spider Tank. Like, you have to think what's the best way to play around the Druid cards. You don't want to play into the swipe, so possibly using Fireball now, because you do have this infinite amount of Fireballs from turn 8 is the best play. But you definitely want to consider other plays just in case.
I think what you said was correct there, because like you said, he has the infinite fireballs coming up on turn 8 onwards, so he doesn't need to keep in his hand to finish off the Druid, and he's not vulnerable to swipe anymore if he decided to use the Azure Drake there to clean up the Belcher, which just been such a good swipe for Zozus. And it forces him to use the Force of Nature.
Can you imagine Druid winning from this point? Like, what Druid has to do? Oh,
okay.
Man, okay. Imagine if you would attack into that with the cat 3 turns before.
I know, exactly, just like you said. So maybe that was a good idea. But he just recharges his board straight away, and he's just seen a Force of Nature, which is generally a desperation move if you're using it to clear minions.
But now his swipe will be amazing, because with the swipe you just cleared his board, gave him a spare part, and if you have a way to deal with this Antonidas, if Zozus is playing like a Tinker, how do you call the guy? Like 3 mana for 3 turns, something into a Squirrel or a Raptor. I think Overspark.
Overspark, yes.
Yeah. That would be a good answer.
I think the issue here is you get Antonidas now with a Finicky, and he's on 13 health. So he is so close to dying, and he can deal damage on the board and with his board now. So the fireballs are most certainly going to clean up the game on turn 9.
Yeah, certainly. Being Amaz here, you just ensure that you're not dead to combo on turn 9, and the combo with this is 14 plus 6, 20, 29. You're not dead to combo even, because the combo will be 29.
I mean, it might be worth cleaning up the Dr. Boom if you want and just hit him with the 2-1, but you're not playing around Ancient of Law there, which can heal. So perhaps just go and face to just guarantee that victory. And we've seen the Force of Nature. There might not be another one in this deck because some players don't run 2.
I think I like trading with one of the bombs.
Just for a bit of security.
Yeah, even though the combo is like not lethal, then if one of the bombs hits base 4/4, that will be harder. Oh man, the bomb actually has a chance to kill Antonidas now.
Oh, it does, yes.
That's interesting. What is Zozus going to do? You might want to limit the minions, and then, let's say, attack into a 3/4. You have to... it's tough, because you have to shapeshift. Like, you have to heal yourself.
He has to heal, because if we look at Amaz's hand, he already has one sitting there.
So you have to clear the board, and you have to heal yourself, because there is 7 damage incoming, and you know that. There is a hero power and a fireball, and there are those minions. So if you want, like, looking at this board, I would say kill the 3/4 with Dr. Boom, and then attack the Cogmaster with your hero power, and then attack it with a bomb. Try killing Antonidas with 4.
Exactly.
But then you're still dead, because you're taking damage, so you're at 7.
So it was just an Ancient of Law, which was the only thing that could probably save him. And the Boombot's going to go in.
The Boombot has to kill Antonidas, and... oh, that's just 1 damage off.
If he had swiped, then he could have cleaned it up if he swiped face, but it's not going to make any difference here as the Fireball gets game 1 for Amaz.
So Amaz is going to take game number 1 in this match versus Zozus. The winner advances to the final. The loser is eliminated from the tournament. We're not going to see Mechmage again in this match.
No, that deck's gone now, so we got Warrior and Priest coming up, and Amaz is probably hoping this Priest can queue into something favourable at least, so we can just get a win with it, get it out of the way, and then he's got the Warrior just to do the rest of the work, which has been doing pretty well for him.
Well, Zozus might be sad that Mech Mage advanced, kind of. But this is not like Mech Mage would win versus something anyway. And Amaz got a really good matchup there starting with the Mech Mage versus Druid. But still, Druid is a great deck, so can take a win versus Warrior, for example. Like Druid is great versus Warrior, even though Forsen has like 100 win rate. Warrior versus Druid, I don't know how he does that, but in general, I believe Druid is a really good matchup versus Warrior.
Generally it is. It was shocking actually because we started off that conversation.
Again, like Amaz really needs to win one game with that Priest.
Exactly, and I think personally maybe the Demon Handlock is what I'm going to call it, might be just its best bet because it gets to utilize the things like Shadow Word Death, which might not see as much play against the Rogue, for example. It only really kills a low feb. It might kill someone with a Tinkers on it, but by then it's already attacked, it's done its job. So Druid might not be too bad, but I would maybe say the Demon Handlock. But again, it's like you said, Priest is in such an awkward spot right now where it's not favourable against anything, and it could be his downfall ultimately.
I think the best chance for the Priest is to win versus Druid. But then again, if Zozus takes something else, a different deck right now, he might still need to play Druid versus Priest at some point.
Yeah, so that Priest is going to show up eventually. And let's just see if Zozus can handle it. He handled it well last time. Did he beat it 3 times? I can't
I
quite
believe
remember.
so. Like the match was 2-2 and they went to the 5th game. So Amaz, I'm not sure if you lost 3 games with a Priest.
Okay, so yeah, this Priest is gonna be an issue.
All right, so we are shortly going to jump into the next game, but well, who's your favorite?
On paper, it's Zozus, but from experience, I would probably say Amaz. He's been in these kind of high-pressure situations before. He's travelled all around the world. He's come from Hong Kong today to play in London, so he's got that LAN experience. And at the end of the day, LAN experience can ultimately win you stuff because your other opponents might not have that experience, and the pressure can get to you. You make misplays, you miss lethal. We've seen lethal missed this weekend a few times already by exceptional players, and that pressure just get to you.
Oh yeah, certainly. It's like it's a totally different Hearthstone when you're actually sitting in the booth and you're facing like the crowd and you're thinking about stuff. For Zozus, it's a very new experience. But on the other hand, he is growing while he plays. Okay. Yesterday, it was his first big multinational LAN. He was attending Polish local national LANs before, but to meet all those pro players for the first time is a great experience. And even though he was stressed first time when he was playing versus Amaz, even though he was stressed for his second match playing versus Forsen, right now he grew as a player. Like right now he has some experience. He played 2 matches. So it doesn't give him an even chance, but at least it gives him a good chance to win versus Amaz, having a good lineup, growing as a player, stabilizing as a player. And if he defeats Amaz, it will mean that Zozus will advance to the finals, and that will be his biggest achievement in his career so far.
Exactly, and like you said, he's gained experience through playing at this LAN today, and even though he may be nervous, having beaten players of this caliber must make you feel good and make you at least feel that I can win this. This is not unwinnable for me. And going in with a lineup which has an advantage against your opponent as well must be a big confidence boost for him. And like you said, if he does win this, it's such a big moment for his career. He's like you said, he's a top Poland player. He's trying to break out into the EU scene, and what better way to do it than to qualify for the next round?
On the other hand, I've seen Amaz win in those dire situations. Like Amaz has a really good mindset. He was playing card games before he started playing Hearthstone, and I am Shenzhen, where everybody thought Amaz lost versus RDU, and then he pulls off something impossible, like Shadow Flaming his own Sylvanas in a Priest deck. So I've seen Amaz do the impossible before, even if the odds are against him. Right now, I think if anybody is going to pull this off, it's Amaz.
Amaz has that vision of seeing those very intelligent players like you see, which some people might not see, and yeah, these are the type of plays and the type of skill set that wins you in these tight spots where you have bad matchups. But if anyone can do it, it's definitely Amaz.
Also, the thing about the matchups is that even though they are bad on paper, Warrior and Priest, they are really hard to play against. And Zozus is an experienced player, but how experienced is he in Warrior matchup and Priest matchup? Those are not the matchups you always hit on ladder. Those are like different matchups. So we are going to jump into the game right now and see what is going to happen, what decks our players picked.
So Zozus has his Druid, which I think he's probably going to be quite happy about getting into, queuing into this Warrior.
Oh man, he has Wiregrove, Intervenant, Power to Shredder. Great start for Zozus. The Zombie Chow, why not?
Why not? It might kill something. It might kill a Cruel Taskmaster. Getting the health at this, getting the heal from the Zombie Chow right now isn't a big deal.
On the other hand, Amaz's hand is not bad as well. He has a lot of those small minions. He has some draw possibilities.
Alright, so Amaz actually has a very good hand with the Cruel Taskmaster and the Acolyte of Pain, so he can start drawing, he can even start gaining armor. He has some late game threats as well, so I think Amaz will probably want to see a weapon soon, maybe a Death Spite to start cleaning up some of the more mid-range minions that Zozus is going to start throwing out.
Yeah, like a Fiery Warx would be amazing for Amaz to be able to kill the Zombie Chow and kill the Pallet of Shredder being dropped on turn 4. Zozus decided not to use his Innervate. I kind of like it. Oh, wow. Okay. This is balanced.
Dr. Win.
Dr. Win.
But look at Amaz's hand, he has Dr. Win, but the Innovate is going to play such a big role in this. So next turn he's got on it. Just a great play.
So I heard, like, a lot of people say that Dr. Boom is not a balanced card, that it's overpowered. But the official response is that it comes late in the game. Like turn 7, you can answer the card. What if it comes to the game on turn 5?
Exactly, and the problem with Dr. Boom in balancing the situation is those boom bots do so much damage. Like with you play turn 7, you get the 7/7, which is a big body. It does get BGH, but you have those little bots which can potentially kill you. I've seen situations recently actually where Taj actually died to these boom bots which on the stream, and it must have been so frustrating for him.
Yeah, the boom bots are definitely very powerful. On the other hand, Warrior normally has the ways to answer Dr. Boom. Like you have Execute, you have Shield Slam, and if you're able to accumulate armor, you are able to kill that, or even with a Brawl. But then Amaz doesn't have those cards right now, and for Zozus, it is going to be an amazing turn.
So that Zombie Chow actually did what it was there for. It cleaned up a Cruel Taskmaster, and we're going to see the Dr. Boom now. But like you said, Warrior has a way to deal with this, and when Warrior starts getting a lot of armor, those boom bots become just less effective. So
well, right now Amaz doesn't have a way to answer this, even though he has the Shield Maiden and Shields Acolyte of Pain into Dr. Boom. Doesn't feel good.
It doesn't look good right now. But looking at Zozus' hands, he's got the Swipe. That's pretty decent. He's got the Shades. He's still got a board to develop, but you must be thinking now, does he have Brawl? Does he want to keep developing his board? Does he want to overextend? Or is he going to think, I'll hold back, I've got a good board here. Maybe just clean up with Swipe. So I think, oh, Savage Roar.
Wait,
wow.
How much damage is this? Savage Roar is 10 damage. Just 10 damage for free mana, 10 damage. It's like a Pyroblast for free mana right now.
And he gets the hero power if he wants it. So he's just going to clean it out with the Swipe. He doesn't want to overextend his board right now. Play around Brawl for a little bit.
I would Savage Roar that. But yeah, that's also like a safe play. It's assuming there is no Brawl. And it's fine as well. Like, the thing why Druid is so good versus Warrior is that you build up this early momentum and you deal damage, and then you just finish with the combo. Even though Warrior has a lot of like taunts and removal cards, it's really hard to deal with this. And this game is, I believe, over 10, 20. Yeah, that will be it with Savage Roar.
Do you think that was a bit greedy from Amaz there playing the Sylvanas?
I like Sylvanas. Sylvanas is one of the cards that helps you to come back in the game. And at this spot, Amaz is such a bad situation that you have to assume there is no Savage Roar. And because there was no Savage Roar last turn, you do play Sylvanas to give yourself a chance to come back. But he didn't, and Zozus is going to take game number 2, tying up the series versus Amaz.
I can expect Zozus is feeling good right now. He's got that win on the board. He's leveled the playing field. So yeah, I think Zozus is going to be really happy with that. He got the Druid into the matchup, which he knew he would win. And getting that win on the board is always a confidence boost. You think, right, I've got that win. Now just get 2 more and I'm through.
Yeah, he's definitely happy because we discussed the Druid versus Priest. That was kind of like a weird matchup there. So having that Druid locked with a win and out of the way, he's definitely happy there. So the last decks for Zozus are Warlock and
The Rogue.
Rogue. Rogue is a bit awkward versus Warrior.
Yeah, that's true. I think he will most likely queue in the lock here. But I think if I was Amaz, I'd probably consider queuing in the Priest, because it's good. It might win versus Rogue, but it probably won't. So if he just gets that out the way, the Rogue's out the way, then he can just focus on the Demon Lock, which could potentially be the deck he can beat with his remaining 2 decks to secure the win.
How much strategy there is, do you think, in right now? Like, you have information that Mage's out of the way, Druid is out of the way, players know the last decks, so should they randomize and or really like get into the strategies and try to upthink their opponents?
I think there's a merit to kind of trying to predict what your opponent can play, but I think the best thing to do is try and set up the next few games to make it an advantage for yourself. So, say he plays the Priest now and he loses the Priest, it's not a big deal if he picks the Rogue. But if he picks the Lock and he wins with the Priest, that's great because he's got that Priest off the board. So I think the Priest is just the best pick here, because losing isn't as bad because that Rogue's gone then. And then his Warrior can potentially win the set for him there. So that's what's so interesting about Conquest for me, is once you get to kind of 1-1, it's kind of thinking, what do I want to win the series for me? What deck can win the series for me, rather than I just need to counter pick this, I just need to counter pick that from our older format.
I certainly agree. It's like it's a good strategy to just weigh your chances and see what will be the best matchup. But on the other hand, Zozus is probably just going to take Rogue, because why not? Like, Rogue will be good versus Priest, and you have to win versus Warrior at some point. Or maybe Warlock then. Like,
maybe, yeah. I think Warlock probably is his best pick, because like you said, Priest is can be pretty bad against Warlock. So if he wins with his Warlock, he'll have to play the Warrior at some point, but it doesn't matter because he'll beat the Priest on paper. So Warlock is probably the most sensible pick for Zozus. So if I was Amaz, I would be thinking Warlock is the deck that's gonna win this for him. So beating that with Priest would just be exceptional. But we see he's queued in the Warrior here, probably predicting the Rogue.
alright guys, so the game is going to start. This is the 3rd game, Amaz versus Zozus, Warrior versus Warlock. So this matchup is interesting. This is not a standard handlock. We've seen some demons before, Jaraxxus and Mal'Ganis, I believe, and Voidcaller.
Have we seen Mountain Giants?
Giants?
We've seen Molten Giants. I'm not sure if we've seen Mountain Giants.
I'm not sure.
So Amaz actually gets quite a clunky hand here. He gets the Harrison, which really doesn't do anything in the Warlock matchup until Jaraxxus comes down. And he gets the Alexstrasza as well. Again, another card which doesn't really do anything until later.
Well, he got Execute, so that one is an important thing.
Oh, a Void Caller's just come into Zozus' hand, and we see the Mal'Ganis sitting there as well.
Yeah, this hand is really looking good for Zozus here. So this matchup is all about control, kind of. Like, Warlock wants to play those big minions faster. Like on turn 4 is really important, Twilight Drake or this Voidcaller or Mountain Giant if there is a Mountain Giant in the deck, where Warrior has to respond to that. Warrior has to get into the removal cards, have Execute, be able to accumulate armor, use Shield Slam to kill one of those big creatures. And who do you think has an advantage in this matchup overall?
At the moment, looking at it, I would say Zozus is looking very good. He's got that 4-8 on the board. We're looking at Amaz's hand. There's not a lot going on. And we also see the Voidcaller and the Mal'Ganis combo coming out. So the Twilight Drake and Zozus is just such a strong hand right now.
Well, there's a second Voidcaller as well. So Voidcaller dying will have a chance to get that second Voidcaller out, unless Zozus actually plays it next turn before Amaz is able to deal with it. On the other hand, Amaz has the Brawl. That's a very important card in this matchup.
Yeah, and we also see the Mortal Coil, which is a really effective way for decks like Handlock to clean up Sludge Belchers, because Sludge Belcher is such a popular card within a lot of decks. Even like a deck like Fast Druid is running Sludge Belchers these days because it's such a strong card. So that's a really and a Molten Giant as well. Such a good draw. A Mountain Giant, sorry.
A Mountain Giant is a great card, but do you really play it this turn?
I don't think so. I think you just want to clean up this Belcher for quite effectively. You get the draw from the Mortal Coil, so you dig deeper into your deck, get more answers. But Amaz hasn't really played anything that's that threatening right now, so I don't think there's any rush to just slam this Mountain Giant down. I
like using the Mortal Coil to cycle it into something else and playing the Void Caller to ensure Mal'Ganis drop from one of those Void Callers. Oh, wow. Definitely done a Void Caller play.
So he's got some exceptional options from his Void Caller, and even if Amaz decides to brawl, which I don't think he will, he's going to get something straight after. Even if the Twilight Drake survived and the Void Caller died, he gets another minion, and nothing happens. The brawl does nothing.
True. Interesting that Zozus decides not to play the Void Caller. He goes with the Zombie Chow to. Is he playing around brawl kind of? Like, does he want to force the brawl here? It's not really a boardy brawl with Zombie Chow and the Void Caller.
Oh, what's his execute going to bring out? Oh, he kills the Twilight Drake. That's good. I thought he was executing the Void Caller then, but
that would be really dangerous.
So this Zombie Chow is going to do some work now. He can clean up. Well, he can clean up the Belcher if he wants. If he gets the Doom Guard from the Void Caller, that would be really great because he can just continue hitting away at this Belcher.
Well, whatever he gets from the Void Caller, even the second Void Caller, is still a good card. It's like you play this 3/4 for 4 mana, and now you're getting a free 3/4 that's going to summon something again. So a lot of value here. I really like this build.
Yeah, it seems really effective, and we've seen the Mountain Giants, which we were questioning earlier. So he's managed to squeeze into 2 Void Callers, a Mal'Ganis, and a Doomguard. So I'll be curious to see what he actually cut, because Handlock can be quite a tight list.
I think Siphon Soul is not on the list. But looking at Amaz's hand, right now he is in trouble. There is this Mountain Giant, and he doesn't have a way to clear this. And I would say this is too early for Brawl. You mostly keep Brawl for the Molten Giants. Like when the Handlock overextends, he plays more minions. Right now, Brawl doesn't make any sense, just getting 33% for the Giant to survive. Like, even if you play an Armor Smith, and if KitKats didn't lie, that's still an awkward position.
I think what's even worse here, he's got the Death Spite, and if he does decide to clear up this Void Caller, he just gets another minion back, and it's going to be stronger. And if he can't deal with a Mountain Giant, how does he deal with a Mal'Ganis?
I think he might actually pass. You do want to kill the Void Caller when you have mana for the Brawl, and then possibly use it. It's like, not attack, and then next turn, kill the Void Caller, play Armor Smith, and then play the Brawl. So right now you're hoping that the Warlock is going to play more minions to get the very valuable Brawl on your side.
I don't think that was a good draw for Zozus there, drawing the Jiraxxus, because it has a chance to be thrown out by the Void Caller, and it's probably something you don't want to see right now. You want to keep that for later, whereas you had 2 very good targets in your hand before, and now drawing that Jiraxxus just makes it just a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it's a weird card to get, because you can still hit it with a Void Caller. But then I really like how Zozus draws a lot of cards. Instead of just overextending and, you know, just spending his hand, he knows this matchup really well, and card advantage is key. He will have those minions, and here he tries to stop the weapon attack, because if Amaz wants to... he protects the Void Caller, basically. He knows that there is a possible Brawl. He sees the setup.
He sees it limits the effectiveness of the Brawl as well, because Amaz can't respond by killing the Void Caller first and then brawling after. So yeah, that's a really smart play from Zozus there, protecting his Void Caller like you said, and it will make Brawl less effective if Amaz decides to go down that route.
Such a tight spot for Amaz. Is he forced to play Ragnaros right now to try to get some value? Like, Brawl is awkward.
If you play Rag now and you hit the Void Caller, and it brings out Mal'Ganis, that's an extra 9 damage that comes into play that you can't deal with because the turn's already ended. So Zozus will have a lot of damage on board just sitting there. Oh, he's going for it.
He's going for the Brawl with Armor Smith. We'll see if KitKats lied.
I guess the best case scenario here is a Jiraxxus.
KitKats didn't lie! Wow, that Brawl.
And he gets the Doomguard. See, that was that was good for Zozus. He didn't want. I don't think he wanted that Jiraxis to go from his hand, and now he gets a nice bulky 5/7, which again, Amaz can't deal with.
It's not the worst as well for Amaz, because Mal'Ganis would be much more powerful here. Still, Zozus in a good spot. He's able to deal with that. Amaz has no removal in his hand, no combo. He has that Ragnaros, and he has the weapon that's going to deal with the Sludge Belcher.
The Sludge Belcher is such a nice draw here because it does protect his Doomguard. He uses the heal on the Doomguard as well, so just further makes insurance on this Doomguard that it doesn't die. It's going to die to execute, but he hasn't seen one yet. He's had opportunities to play execute.
He used one.
He used one. So yeah, Zozus is probably thinking he's already used one. He hasn't used one recently. There's chances he just doesn't have it.
Well, here Zozus played really well around like a Shield Slam or a possible Baron-Geddon. But then Baron-Geddon might still be the play.
Yeah, he leaves the Doomguard alive, but this Doomguard's getting a lot of value. He got it played for free through the Void Caller. It killed the Armor Smith, which is good. And now he gets killed to Baron-Geddon as well.
And Baron-Geddon is a card you have to deal with. Like, you can't leave it on board. So this Doomguard is probably going to trade into it. Is there any other way to deal with this?
So he taps first.
Oh, now there is.
Oh, right. So he does have a Siphon Soul available. He's thinking about just dropping the Molten Giant and just trading.
I like it. There's no other way he is going to deal with anything big, like Ragnarok.
Unless a
or
big game
Axraza.
hunter shows up.
Wow. Big Game Hunter is a fantastic pickup by Amaz. He's able to deal with this Molten Giant. And somehow, Amaz actually cleared the board and is slowly getting back. That Acolyte of Pain will be very important to draw the cards. He has those endgame cards as well. This game is not over.
It's not. No, he's stabilized just a little bit, but we're going to see another Giant come down, and which is going to be a bit unfortunate. But if Amaz can draw, say, a Shield Block or a Shield Maiden, he might be able to deal with it as well. So if Amaz can continue to draw some good cards, it might... Oh, he gets to clear the board as well with the Shadow Flame, so that's really good for Zozus.
Yeah, that's definitely smart. You don't want to give Amaz many cards from Acolyte of Pain. And one of the ways to win versus Warrior as a handlock is just to set up a taunt wall. You know that Brawl is out of the way. That's really important information. You just set up a taunt wall. Now you can overextend, and then you play Jiraxis, and you basically win from there. You want to be in a situation where Warrior can one-shot you with Grommash and Cruel Taskmaster and a possible weapon on board. If you're able to secure your position, you're in a very good spot.
We're actually is this the second Cruel Task now?
No, I think that's the
first. No, that was from the previous game. So yeah, he gets the execute here. But again, he was looking pretty good a moment ago, but that Shadow Flame just changed everything, and we could just see another Giant come down.
Yeah, Amaz used the second execute, even though that execute was on point and in the exact moment he needed it. Right now he's facing this Giant. He can actually deal with this with the Shield Slam.
Oh, that's true, yeah, and yeah, that's really good for him. And he gets another Acolyte Pain, so he still has the potential to draw some more cards, which, as you said, is such a big deal for Warrior. They want to just get through the deck as much, get all their answers, and then throw out their big game threats.
Also for Amaz, a second Molten Giant is again an important piece of information, because he knows now that if he gets Warlock really low, there are no free Giants coming. The Moltens are out of the way. So for example, if he decides to play Ragnaros at some point, he won't be afraid of, you know, double Molten Giant taunt wall. Right now it's minion for minion, so Zozus will have to just develop a minion every turn.
And just keep fighting away, and like you said, Amaz is not afraid of killing him now. He can take him down as low as he wants. The only thing he has to play around is Jiraxis, but you might, if he gets, say, a Rag Shot on face, he's just closer to killing him.
I think I would like to see this silence on Acolyte of Pain. Like, looking at free cards in an opposing hand. Oh, there's a Sylvanas. Interesting.
Yeah, I think the silence would have been good then, because like you said, limit that card draw, limit the options the Warrior can get to deal with your minions, because he's still got quite a strong hand. We still see the Mal'Ganis and the Lord and the Jiraxis, so yeah, that could have been a good play. So he just gets the one card.
He gets Fire War Axe, but it's not what he needed. It's still an awkward spot. Like, he can't really play anything big. Maybe Harrison. But then again, Harrison is good versus Jiraxis. The problem is how many cards Amaz has left in his deck. Amaz still has 11 cards, so Harrison Jones is a possible answer to Jiraxis being played.
We don't know when Jiraxis I guess Jiraxis will be played soon, because Zozus is running out of cards in his deck. Yeah, it's a tough spot for Amaz. What do you play here?
Normally, if there would be no Jiraxis, I would play Harrison Jones to be able to trade with his Sylvanas. Oh, Amaz goes with Alexstrasza. Healing his opponent, such a generous.
And potentially giving him another 8/8, and he's just been dropping these 8/8s one after another, and another one is potentially coming on Zozus' board. But he decides to just Siphon Soul, clean it up, so he still has an opportunity to use the Sylvanas to steal something.
I like it. It's because Amaz played Alexstrasza into Sylvanas, it's a clear sign that he has a problem with the Sylvanas. He can't clear it right now. So just keeping this minion on board is pretty smart.
Do you think it's worth tapping there with 4 cards left in deck?
Well, he wants to increase the quality of his plays, and he has an advantage on board for now. And he has the Iron Beak Owl, so Ancient Watcher is going to provide more damage as well. I think it's fine to tap still.
So Amaz does clear up the Sylvanas and it doesn't get its value. But I think if Sylvanas did some good work. It dealt some damage, it created an awkward situation for Amaz where he just had to heal Zozus.
Also, Amaz had to spend a second Taskmaster, so now he doesn't have an activator for a possible Grommash top deck. He just has that Harrison Jones is waiting patiently for Jiraxis play, and Ragnaros, which...
So he hovered with the Mortal Coil on top of Sylvanas. Is he going to set up a Mortal Coil, play Owl and Shadow Flame or something? I'm not sure. So yeah, okay. Maybe that was just a misclick, so he just goes for the Owl, which is really effective here, because I'm sure Amaz was hoping to at least get something from this Sylvanas.
He might go for an Iron Beak Owl Defender Vargas. I think I would like that play. So like Iron Beak Owl, the Watcher, Defender Vargas, Watcher, and something, and then kill Sylvanas with Watcher being a 5/6, and then attack phase with the Taskmaster. But it's fine as well. He was able to create kind of like the same situation. I would probably silence the Watcher and attack for 4.
Yeah, you might as well keep putting on that pressure. It's not going to make a huge difference. What's the Owl got left to silence now? It's silencing the Sylvanas.
So Amaz going with Ragnaros, and if Ragnaros hits Lothep, that would be an awkward spot for Zozus.
Oh, it hits the Watcher. Rag is usually so good for Amaz doing what he wants for him, but he didn't get it this time.
Well, on the other hand, Zozus doesn't have a good way to deal with this Ragnaros, and Zozus has only 2 more cards in his deck. Is there a card that can deal with this?
I imagine he's only running 1 Siphon Soul because he has all these demons in his deck. So, I don't know, he's going to tap again. Oh, he gets the Dr. Boom.
Wow, that's actually not a bad card.
That's an excellent card.
It counters Ragnaros in a sense.
Because Ragnaros has it has more targets to hit, it gets less value if it kills the Boombot. And the Boombot could potentially set up a situation where Rag can be killed if it does, say, 4 damage to it.
So being Zozus, what do you think Amaz has in his hand? You've seen double Taskmaster. He is actually afraid of dying here.
I don't think he should be. I think because he's seen both Cruel Taskmasters, and if he was to play the Death Spite, he still needs to hit with the Death Spite first before he can get the activator for Grom. Well, actually, this is a Whirlwind.
Well, and Grom is actually somewhere in those last 8 cards. So Amaz is patiently abusing this Ragnaros. He can even just armor up and pass, can he? Not really. He's going to get 8 points of damage if he hits face. If he hits face, that's 8, so he'll be at 5. He's still safe from Jirax's attack. Mal'Ganis is not doing much.
Do you think Amaz is in a situation where he can use his health as a resource to clear, say, this anti-Keybot? Do you think he's safe enough? Do you think he'd want to take that risk?
Yeah, I think you can still do it, because then you get a 50-50 on a minion. If Ragnaros hits the 5/5, then you're in a very good spot. And playing the heal bot is telegraphing that Zozus doesn't have a way to deal with this. And it actually kills the 5-5. Zozus is out of cards.
Oh, the big game hunter.
Whoa!
Last card.
That's why you tap! Boom, and being a hunter is such a powerful turn.
And we've seen the Brawl. There's no Brawl to deal with. He has a Whirlwind, but the Whirlwind could potentially do 8 damage to him. Unless he drops the armor, so if he can gain a bit of armor. Wow, he's... Oh,
Amaz is such a bad position. Just getting this Armor Smith now doesn't do anything.
So now I guess he can't use his health as a resource here to clean it up because he's just so...
Isn't he dead whatever happens?
Perhaps, yeah.
He has 12 if he uses Armor Up. If he uses Armor Smith as well, he can get 2 more. So it's 14 points of health. He has no way to kill Dr. Boom, so he drops to 7. And if Boombots hit for 4 total, then he's dead to Jiraxis.
It's such a tight spot. He might have to use his Harrison now just to try and stabilize.
I like Harrison, that's 2 more health. It will all end up with the Boombots. We said Boombots are powerful. This is the moment to see if the Boombots are too powerful.
This is it. These are the cards from Dr. Boom which are creating so much problem within the scene right now. And let's see what they do in a big tournament like this.
Amaz is all in. The first Boombot hits for 2, and for 2, that's it?
That's it with Jiraxis.
That's... Wait, is this?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. He's got 1 health.
There is a fatigue damage, and Zozus has to do something here.
If he just kills, say, the Armor Smith or the Harrison with the Dr. Boom and plays Mal'Ganis, he's immortal.
Yeah, in fact he is. Well, he has still options like Silence, Attack Phase, and then Shadow Flame, boom. Oh, he actually Shadow Flames the Owl. Yeah, that's
even better. That's even much better. Oh, I would like to see the Mal'Ganis be played there. Doesn't get a lot of play.
There is Dr.
in situations like this. Oh, another Dr. Boom.
Yeah, but it doesn't save Amaz, so Zozus is going to take game number 3 and get a lead over Amaz with those wins.
So Amaz is in the same situation he was before. He can probably win the Rogue Warrior matchup because Warrior can do very well against Rogue, gaining all that health. But then he's back with the Priest.
It's tough. It's definitely tough. So Zozus has this Rogue. He needs to win 1 game at least. And Rogue is a very stable deck. It's a very powerful deck. It can snowball as well. Rogue is a good matchup versus Priest. And it's 50-50 versus Warrior? What do you say?
Near enough, yeah. If Warrior draws the right cards, it's very easy for Warrior just to out-heal the amount of damage that Rogue can potentially do. So I would probably say, yeah, Warrior can still win the matchup. But Rogue can still win the matchup as well because there's just so much burst in that deck. If the Warrior just draws badly, say, for example, like Alex Straza in your open hand, like Amaz suffered from, it's just, it could be a downhill... it can be an uphill struggle for the Warrior if he doesn't gain those early removal cards and all that armor.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. And then on the other hand, Rogue can really just get all the right cards in the right time, like getting Sprint on 4, filling up your hand with options, and then just having really quality plays every turn. What do you think Amaz is going to take now? It's like he lost with Warrior 2 times. So right now, do you take Warrior again and try to win that 1 game, or do you bring your Priest? Because this might be the last game he's going to play in this tournament, and you don't want to go down without playing the Priest in the last match.
I think there's two mindsets you can take with approaching this next game. You can take your Warrior and you can almost secure that win. But if you take the Priest and you win with the Priest, that is such a massive blow to Zozus' mind. It's such a mind game because I've just lost a good matchup and this Warrior could beat me. So maybe Amaz is thinking, just take the Priest, just see if I can do it with the Priest, and then just tilt Zozus and take the series.
Yeah, I think this is a valid strategy. And if anybody's going to win with the Priest versus Rogue, that's going to be Amaz.
Definitely, and I think it depends what Amaz wants to do with his game plan. Does he want that secure victory and then just cue the Priest in after? Or does he go for that kind of mind game play? If I can win with this Priest, then it's just uphill from here, so downhill from here, sorry. And yeah, I think that's probably, I would say that's his best call there, just playing the Priest.
Also, from my experience, playing versus Priest is really exhausting because it's like it's not a standard game plan. Like they do heal, they do play those awkward cards with weird effects, and it can be exhausting. But players are ready, and we are going to start the next game, and that's going to be Warrior for Amaz and Rogue for Zozus.
So Amaz doesn't go for the little mind game strategy we just discussed. He goes for the safe play, try and get that, try and tie up 2-2. Looking at Amaz's hand, he's got Alex Straza again. Has he already mulliganed? I think so.
Yeah, he has Alex Straza and Harrison.
And Harrison again.
But this time, Harrison is actually good versus this kind of deck.
Yes, exactly. Harrison can be very good for the Warrior. Draw more cards and potentially destroying a weapon, which is part of Zozus' damage, which obviously Zozus only has a set amount of damage you can do with this deck, and Warrior can out-heal that sometimes if he gets the right draws.
So, double Armor Smith, as you said. Like, if Warrior is going to armor up and use those Armor Smiths to get through the damage threshold that Rogue is representing, then Warrior has a good chance to actually win the game. But on the other hand, Warrior needs removal, and right now Amaz doesn't have any removal cards in his hand. So if Zozus is able to play a big creature, like a big Edwin maybe, at some point, and Amaz is not able to deal with this, Zozus will be able to go through that threshold of damage with his minions.
I think the perfect draw for Amaz coming up would be a Shield Slam, because he has that Shield Block, and Shield Slam can pretty much kill most of what the Rogue can play, apart from, say, like you said, a big Edwin. So I think Amaz will probably be hoping, let's just draw a Shield Slam here, so I can start dealing with this board.
Well, he got Acolyte of Pain, which is not terrible. He is able to develop it and hope for some cards at least. But yeah, wow. And Violet Teacher.
Such an excellent draw, but he opts not to use it.
Well, if you play Violet Teacher, it might go, interesting.
So he wasn't going to get heal on himself anyway because he's got full health, but I guess he plays around the Execute here. But we see the Fiery War Axe, which is just an excellent pickup for Amaz because it can clear up so many of the Rogue's minions.
But on the other hand, I think Rogue has an advantage here because Zozus is able to develop the board, deal that damage, and for now Amaz has a lot of endgame cards in his hand.
Oh, there's a sprint. That'll make a big difference coming up soon where he can just refuel his hand, refuel the damage that he needs to kill Amaz.
Well, Zozus right now is in a weird spot. I would definitely... because he didn't play that Violet Teacher last turn, it's kind of punishing his mana curve right now. Because, he has to play it. Like, he can't keep it for a possible Eviscerate to get a 1-1.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there, because if he had played the Violet Teacher, because he healed his SI7, it didn't really do anything in the end because the Fiery War Axe just cleaned it up. So yeah, like you said, it's kind of just made kind of an awkward curve for Zozus there. But he's still looking pretty strong, you know, he's got the board. This Axe will just clean up the farce here, but Amaz's hands, like you said, it's a lot of late game stuff.
It's a bit unfortunate for Amaz because he has a Harrison Jones, but it's not like Zozus played a weapon and like he didn't even weapon up in this game. Like he has a lot of minions and curve. So normally for Amaz, the best play right now would be Harrison Jones, draw 1 to 2 cards, maybe even destroy a deadly poison on the weapon. But he can't do it. Like there's no weapon there, and you have to keep it for a possible oil. And he decides to draw a card with shield block, getting the armor up. Maybe keep the point for Dr. Boom next turn.
I mean, maybe playing the armor Swift's not too bad, but armoring up's fine because he has the coin, so he's got, like you said, the Dr. Boom, which we've seen do a lot of work in this tournament already. Oh, he draws the Tinkers, which can be a little awkward for Violet Teacher because obviously she spawns those tokens when you play a spell, and it can land on an inactive token, which is just awkward.
Yeah, but on the other hand, what else can he do? Like, if he goes weapon up oil and gets the buff on the Violet Teacher, he's going to deal a massive damage this turn. And other than that, to do like Eviscerate and play Edwin.
He doesn't have a combo starter though, that's the problem. He's got all combo cards in his hand apart from the sprint, but nothing to activate them. So I think we might actually see a weapon up hit with the Violet Teacher in the past, because it's just so awkward.
It's all about like how scared are you of Harrison. And like the oil thing is also not ideal because if there is a Harrison, you're going to lose the weapon, and if the +3 attack lands on the token, you're in a weird Oh, it doesn't even combo.
Yeah,
right?
there was no combo.
No combo.
And Amaz is going to be happy with this because he gets rid of 4 damage here with his Harrison, draws a card, and starts to develop his own board.
That's a pretty good Hearthstone Jones. Destroying the weapon, drawing a card, getting oil out. And you know, oil normally represents lots of damage. It can be 9 points of damage if you have flurry, if you have something to attack it with, but now it was like +3 for 4 mana. That's not a good deal.
No.
Edwin is better. Like eviscerate the 2/2, eviscerate the 5/4, and then play Edwin. You get a 6/6 Edwin, I believe. You get 2 tokens, and you attack with the Violet T-shirt. This is weak to Brawl, but then you do have the sprint next turn if you need to.
I think a problem is as well that you you throw away 8 damage there with those 2 eviscerates. We're just having some issues with the spectator client right now. We'll be back with you very shortly.
So, what do you think was better? Double eviscerate Edwin or SI, or maybe just sprints into that situation?
It's just, I don't know. It was tough because you don't want to throw away that 8 damage from the eviscerates on minions. You want that to deal with the armor, for example. If he had SI'd, he could have used 1 eviscerate and killed the Harrison, and then he could have just cleaned up the Cruel Taskmaster with his Violet Teacher, and he would have got a token, and he would have still had that eviscerate waiting there for something else.
But on the other hand, you do develop the board with minions, and minions are essentially going to deal damage.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess the fear is if you do develop, say, that Edwin, does he have a Shield Slam? Does he have this? Does he have that? I don't know. It's just a bit tough. It's a tough match. It can be a tough matchup, like we said already. So, yeah, we're just having a few issues with the spectator client.
Yeah, we're going to come back to you guys shortly with the game, trying to figure stuff out. So, if Zozus wins this, he advances to the finals, and if Amaz loses, he is eliminated.
Yeah, he goes home, unfortunately. I think, looking at the situation, Amaz was looking in a very good position. So, I can't imagine that Amaz is going to lose this from what we've seen so far. But you never know with Oil Rogue. It's got so much... It just deals so much damage out of nowhere. It's got so much burst potential, and that can be just a huge problem for any deck, really.
Oh yeah, certainly. So we are trying to figure out how to get back to the game, guys. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, for tuning in for this tournament. This is first tournament of the series. Gfinity Arena in London was built specifically for esports. This is the first one. We're going to have more tournaments. If you want to play in those tournaments, you can actually qualify online. There are and will be online qualifiers. I believe, like for this tournament, we had 3 online qualifiers, 250 people. 4 people qualified for the first one, 4 for the second one, and I believe 1 person qualified for the from the third one.
Yeah.
So basically, a lot of people can just qualify, and then you're coming here. It's all covered, and you can play with those pro players for the amazing prize pool and amazing prizes.
It's an all-inclusive trip to London, so if you're from another country, it would be a nice experience just to come out to the UK, kind of experience our culture as well, but also to get to play in like a high-profile event. And the Gfinity Arena is just fantastic. You know, it's such a big achievement for esports within the UK. So we're going to go and try and resolve this issue. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back very shortly with the game.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Gfinity Arena. Unfortunately, we couldn't see the end of that game, but Amaz won. So this means that right now the score is 2-2, Zozus versus Amaz, and this means that Amaz has to play his priest.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate for Amaz that he didn't get that a win for that priest quite early on, and hopefully for Amaz, history will not repeat itself. And this priest we can see what this priest can do, but it's a bad matchup as we've already explained. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, Amaz is a person who's really experienced with priest. He had I think he had the most amount of games as a priest. And Rogue is a bad matchup for the priest, but then Amaz knows how to play this matchup. And I'm not sure what the route is as a priest, what you have to take. Maybe you have to be more aggressive. And also, Amaz has some cards in his deck that maybe will help him to advance with this matchup. But Zozus definitely has an upper hand. He lost last game, so it might be kind of like a mind blow because you're coming into the last game, which is match point, with a disadvantage there. But then again, he won before. Now he has a good matchup, and he might be confident there.
Yeah, you did say he's coming to that last game, which could create a bit of tension with him. You know, a lot's on the line for him now. If he loses, he goes home. If he wins, it's a big boost for his career. He goes into day number 2, and I say day 2 today. And so yeah, they're about to start actually. So Amaz is gonna just hope he gets the right draws to this priest, get some early board presence, clean up those minions, so he can't get any value from his tinkers, and just try and limit. It's just damage control for the whole way. I think priest just plays so reactive anyway as a class, but in this situation he just needs the right cards.
All right, guys, this is it. This is the last game of the group stage. Who is going to win? Who is going to lose? Amaz versus Zozus. Amaz with a priest and Zozus with a rogue. What do you think about the starting hand?
So Amaz does get that Northshire cleric, but I think maybe a powered shield would help him a lot here because he can start hitting the other minions, start healing, drawing more cards. But it's not looking too bad. We do see the Soul Priest, and we still see the light of Naru, which does do 3 damage with the Soul Priest, which does kill quite a few minions within the rogue deck. So it's looking alright.
Oh yeah, this hand is definitely looking good for Amaz now. He can be aggressive, but on the other hand, Zozus does have a lot of removal there. He has the Farseer, Eviscerate, and those backstabs. What are the key cards for the rogue in this matchup?
Well, Eviscerate's very good. It deals with the Dark Cultist, which is a very good card for Priest to know, a 3/4, a good body. So he's definitely wanting that. But I guess he just wants like a Violet Teacher or something. Just get the board. He wants to develop that board as much as possible, because Holy Nova can be quite a lackluster card sometimes. It's not a very good AoE.
Oh my god, look at this board. Is he going to double backstab Fan of Knives?
I think you have to here, really. I imagine you just don't want to give Amaz anything. I mean, he could just play the Farseer. It does trade up quite nicely. But I think if you look at this board from Zozus' perspective, you're like, oh, I don't want him drawing cards. I don't want him drawing anything. Just kill these minions.
You do shut down the card draw for the priest, and then you do have some card draw with the Falnos, and you draw the card with Fan of Knives.
So we do see that Dark Cultist, which we just talked about, a good body, but we do see the Eviscerate in Zozus' hand, and he does get the Falnos, so he gets the combo, which something he was really struggling with last game was initiating these combos and starting them up. So it's looking quite good for Zozus already.
Well, it's a very awkward position because Amaz had a very good start with this Dark Cultist with double Northshire Cleric. Right now he can just play one of the Soul Priests, and he has a lot of minions, so he is the one building up the board and also getting this Light Warden here, where Zozus is stuck with 2 Blade Flurries and no other removal cards.
Oh, that's true. He does use the coin. Oh, he gets the Drake. That's a good draw for him, but it will potentially die to, well, maybe Vol'jin? No, Valen's Chosen, actually. That's an interesting card to see Amaz play.
We talked about Valen's Chosen before in like previous matches, and the card seems to be bad if you're behind, but if you're ahead, and right now Amaz is ahead, card can be amazing.
Yeah, he can buff up. Well, he can buff up any card here, and it's going to do well, because he'll have enough mana to use his hero power to deal any extra damage he needs to clear this Drake. So I think what Zozus is thinking now, do I hit this with my weapon, the 1/2, and then I can kill it next turn? But it might actually have the potential to trade with this Drake if Amaz decides to go with that play.
Certainly, it's like an awkward spot. Like, the Slide Warden seems to be threatening, but on the other hand, Amaz is not able to heal for now.
So he does hit the... Okay, so he decides to hit that so the Drake can challenge it with its 4 attack. But Valen's Chosen is more than likely going to come in here. I'd imagine it's going to go on the Light Warden maybe. Or maybe just on the Soul Priest, and you can just hit the Drake, and that taking 3 damage for nothing there really with that dagger.
Yeah, I like Valen's Chosen on the Soul Priest and just using your hero power to deal some damage, getting advantage there. Maybe forcing some AoE.
I think keeping your Soul Priest around as long as possible in this situation is excellent with Vol'jin, because by the time turn 7 comes around, you can Vol'jin something, and you can use your hero power to clear it up quite easily, which is going to play in Amaz's favor so well.
Well, Amaz also has Dr. Boom, which will be a fantastic card on turn 7, but in the other hand, he's also got Deadly Poison and Eviscerate, so he can easily clear this board without much stress. He can just weapon up again, Deadly Poison, kill the 1-2, Eviscerate the 5-4, the board is cleared, and he's in a good position there. Amaz doesn't really have many cards in hand. And turn 6 play for Amaz will be just another Soul Priest.
But if that Soul Priest stays alive a turn, Vol'jin can potentially get some value with the hero power. Oh, he draws the Mind Control, which is not a great card, it's very slow. It may not even see play depending on how quick this game goes. But Amaz is at 30 life on turn 6. Surely that's a good sign for Amaz.
Yeah, he's playing very aggressively. That might be the only way to deal with Rogue. So Zozus decides to sprint to increase the value of his cards. He's not suspecting that Dr. Boom being dropped on next turn, which only proves that Amaz's hand was incredible with all those creatures pressuring the Rogue. Like, Rogue is normally the class that pressures the Priest, but here Amaz swapped the situation. He's the one pressuring. Dr. Boom being very powerful. How do you deal with this Dr. Boom right now?
Well, we've seen Dr. Boom be been sapped this tournament already, and it never really accomplished anything. It was just stalling out the inevitable. But as soon as that Dr. Boom was played, Zozus buried his face in his hands. He just overwhelmed by it. He doesn't seem to not have an answer it just yet.
I'm looking at a possible Blade Flurry, but then you have 6 mana. If you play double SA7, you will be able to kill Dr. Boom. But then the Alkanized Soul Priest is still on board.
And with that Vol'jin, although he just steals 3 health, it still beats the minion, which it does its job. So if that Soul Priest does stay alive, you can trade into one of the SIs. You can save Vol'jin if he wants to, and then use the hero power, and he clears the board.
Oh, the Boombot's hit for 4. That's kind of like average, but still, in this situation where Amaz is the aggressive player, and the Soul Priest is going to stay on board, that's damage that matters.
It does at this point. Amaz is very healthy in this situation. Like I said, the Mind Control's a bit clunky, but he does have the Thought Steal here, so he can maybe fish out for something really helpful.
Can he steal an Eviscerate? Yeah, Eviscerates were not played this game yet.
Oh, he's played 1 Eviscerate?
Yeah, he played 1 Eviscerate.
He played 1 Eviscerate, so Eviscerate is... And the great thing about Thought Steal when stealing Rogue cards is it's a combo activator, so he can use the Thought Steal for 4 damage.
I think he has the Thought Steal here. If you possibly can also Vol'jin and use hero power.
But the Vol'jin's quite weak then with 3 health. It does die to, say, like we said, an Eviscerate, but what else will Vol'jin steal? I guess a Violet Teacher gives it 5 health, that's good. A Loatheb gives it 5 health, so that's good. So maybe he wants to hold on to that, because he's not in a position where he's going to win yet, is he?
Yeah.
So he still needs, he still has a lot of work to do, so maybe keeping on to that Vol'jin for now might be a good idea.
Well, if he goes for Vol'jin, he's in an awkward spot, because then he probably has to kill one of the SA7s, and maybe even kill the second one to keep the Vol'jin on board. But then there is a sap, and Rogue will be able to slowly get back in this game.
And he draws the Drake. And he has the Violet Teacher, which we were just talking about, getting that 5 health, but the sap is going to be very effective on the Vol'jin here.
Yeah, with the sap, you can play a Violet Teacher first, then Farseer and sap. That's 9 points of mana.
So he decides to look for another card here. He gets another Farseer. So we can start healing up a little bit at least. Try to get to another healthy life total. But a Priest is not a class known for any burst, so 14 health is actually pretty decent for a Rogue. Unless he Fort Steals some crazy burst like a Tinker's and an Assassin's Blade and something.
What can he actually Thought Steal here? Is there any bursty card? Like, alright, he's going for the Thought Steal. He gets Violet Teacher and Deadly Poison.
Deadly Poison.
Deadly Poison is a blank.
Deadly Poison's one of the worst cards you can get, really, unless you, say, get an Assassin's Blade, which not all rogues are running these days. I mean, at least with a Tinker's, if you combo it, you still get the free attack on a minion. So you can get something out of it, but Deadly Poison's just useless.
Well, so for Amaz right now, he decides to trade as opposed to like go for face. Yeah, the game plan changed. Amaz tried to be very aggressive as a priest, but at this point, aggression stopped. Like, he has to change the plan to the original. Hey, I'm a priest. I'm going to heal. I'm going to try getting board control. I'm going to use my mind control. And he's like kind of backpedaling here.
Oh, we see the second sap coming here. And Zozus has developed a very strong board. This is where, say, an Arcanized Soul Priest and a Circle Healing becomes quite effective to clean up the board, but he's used both of his Arcanized now. So that's not even... he can't even use that now.
Yeah, there are also not many good mind control targets, so Amaz might be forced to just play Violet Teacher and Lovelet to build up some board presence to be able to fight back. But this doesn't look good for Amaz.
No, he was looking in a very comfortable position before, but it's swung in the Rogue's favor as it does in this matchup.
It's definitely painful to watch the situation being Amaz. Like, you knew you were going into a bad matchup. You had a very good start. You had a chance to finish the game early, but at some point it stopped. Like,
he's run out of steam almost. He started drawing clunky cards like Mind Control, and Shadow of Death only really kills Loatheb, so these clunky cards have not done a lot for him. Maybe if he'd drawn into something a bit more effective, more minions, that would be helpful, but it was unfortunate for Amaz. He just couldn't get anything from the draws.
Well, this game is not over yet. Amaz still has the Pyromancer. He did develop those two minions, so Zozus right now is forced to trade.
Oh, Direwolf. Extra damage there.
Yeah, that's pretty important. He will be able to kill the Violet Teacher with a weapon and attack from Farseer.
And he gets the extra 1 damage on the Violet Teacher as well. So he saves his Farseer there, hits it with the weapon. He still keeps a strong board, and we know that Amaz doesn't have a Holy Nova or anything like that to deal with this Farseer. He might. Oh, he plays a Loatheb, so if he did have a Holy Nova, that's all he's got, and he doesn't even clear that much. He clears a wolf, so he gets.
That's a terrible turn for Amaz. Just using Shadow of Death, spending all your mana. How much damage is there for Zozus? That's 10, 13, 14. He sprints, and sprint is another card. Mistakes were made. Wait, how many cards does he have?
So he's almost out of cast, but he does get the prep, which will make his Tinkers 1 mana. But we have the Violet Teacher out, so maybe Amaz will get lucky with that, and he'll get a bad target for the other one. But he can still dagger up as well.
Oh, mistakes were made because he didn't attack with the Violet Teacher, and now he has the token.
Oh, right, yes, true. So he missed out on 1 extra damage there.
So he goes for the dagger, and Tinker. Is Tinker going to hit one of the tokens?
And where's it? He's got 3 tokens to choose from. Yes, it hits one of the tokens.
So that's a bit lucky for Amaz, but still a very weird position. He will be able to clear some of this board with Pyromancer, but he needs a Holy Nova right now.
Oh, Zombie Chow is a bad draw. If he'd drawn the Holy Nova, like you said, he could have cleared a lot of this board, but...
Amaz on the verge of elimination from this tournament. He heals his opponent and gives up. Zozus is going to advance to the finals, and Amaz is eliminated from the tournament. Zozus, a player with not really many achievements, you know, just a normal ladder player, a good player at the Polish scene, but this is his first achievement. Like, this is where his story starts. The next tournament we cast with Zozus will be saying, this guy go to the Gfinity finals, he went for Amaz, he played versus Forsen, and well, we are going to see Amaz this weekend at IEM, but in this tournament, Amaz has to say goodbye. and just vouch for his teammate Firebat. And yeah, that was an amazing match. Like again, Zozus versus Amaz going to game 5, deck by deck. I really like the Conquest format here.
It just shows the quality of players here. Both of them really stretching out to the last game. They were really fighting tooth and nail, and we could see that Amaz has such a good start. He had the potential to maybe win that game if you just drawn the right cards, but unfortunately this is Hearthstone and sometimes you just get bad draws. But Zozus, I'm very happy for him. This, like you said, this is the start. This is the beginning for him. This is the first chapter of his career in competitive Hearthstone, and perhaps from this win he can go on to win the event, and that would be huge for him.
I'm still impressed by Amaz's play, where he was going versus this difficult lineup and having his Priest and Warrior countered by Druid, and well, Priest basically countered by all those decks. He still played on a very high level, and you know, the strategy with Priest, just to rush Zozus. That was a very intelligent move. Unfortunately, he ran out of steam because it's kind of using a control deck to you know, to be aggressive.
Yeah, exactly.
But it can work. Like, that was his chance. He took it. Unfortunately for him, it didn't work, but he executed it beautifully.
But he proved that it is a viable strategy, because we did see a lot of success from it in the earlier turns, and perhaps if Amaz had drawn those right cards, he could have secured the win there. But unfortunately, he was going into a bad matchup, and like you said, Amaz plays so well, understanding that if I'm going to win this, I need to be aggressive. I can't just sit back like Priest does, and it takes a very high-level Priest player to understand that situation and make those decisions.
I'm super excited to see more of the Demon Warlock that Zozus is playing. I really like this deck. It's different.
It's different. It looks pretty effective. It kind of merges two very strong decks. Handlock has fallen off a little bit, but Handlock's had a very good run through its Hearthstone history. Demon Lock has become very possible. So yeah, it's nice to merge those two worlds together and see what it does. And so far, I'm quite impressed.
All right, let's see the bracket now, and let's see who actually advanced to the finals. There is Anaro versus Firebat, our first pair. There is Forsen versus Nyman, Faramir versus Sodal, and Nyria versus Zozus. That means that Sixo got eliminated in the process, but those players advanced. They will fight, and one of them will be the Gfinity champion in the first tournament at Gfinity Arena for Hearthstone.
I actually really like this bracket because we've got some pro players, which the names we know, the Faramir, the Firebat, the Force, you know, strong players. But we also have those underdogs, you know, those people who are looking to make their mark in the Hearthstone world, and this is a exciting opportunity for them to do that. Zozus just showed us what he can do. Sottle had a very strong run as well, and Anaro is kind of like the wild card. Yeah, you know, he's had some really good luck with his rags and stuff. So Anaro versus Firebat is going to be an excellent match. In a world champion go up against kind of an up and comer, a very unknown name within the Hearthstone scene.
It's actually amazing that we have 4 invited players versus 4 players who qualified, and I'm really excited to see how this bracket will unfold. Will the qualified players just rush for those guys and take the championship, or are we going to see a mix? Or maybe the pro players will show their experience and actually eliminated the invited the qualified players. So this is an amazing bracket. We're going to have an amazing tournament coming forward. But for now, guys, we're going to go into a short break, and after that, the rest of the matches and the finals.